Hey guys, I'm Ethan. In the previous video, we discussed the unique feature of Chinese pronunciation. In this video, we will focus on the distinct aspect of Chinese grammar. Chinese grammar operates quite differently from English grammar, and probably from any language you've encountered. Unlike English, which requires heavy memorization of the rules, Chinese grammar is simple in many ways. All you need to remember are a few functional characters. We hope that this video will offer you some pleasant surprises. Let's dive in! First, regarding grammar, the biggest difference between Chinese and English is whether grammatical functions are achieved through the word changes. In English, almost every aspect of a grammar is accompanied by changes in the words. Verbs change based on the different circumstance, and the words themselves change their spelling to transform into nouns, adjectives, or adverbs. In contrast, Chinese words never change. Regardless of the situation, they remain the same. All grammar in Chinese is achieved through the addition of functional characters, mostly particles and prepositions. It's like playing a role-switching game. In English, if you want to become a police officer, you have to change into a police uniform. And people of different body types need different size uniforms. However, in Chinese, if we want to change a role, we don't need to change our clothes. We authorize each person by giving them the same badge. I will explain these concepts more through various grammatical examples. Let's start with the accusative case. From this comparison between Chinese and English, you can see that Chinese doesn't have accusative case. It's worth mentioning that these three characters are all pronounced as ta in Chinese, so only three pronunciations are needed to cover all the English words in this image. And all the personal pronouns are derived from these five characters with three pronunciations. And how do these pronouns transform into possessive? It's simple, just add de after the character. And how do we make them plural? Just adding men will do. These two words don't exist in English, but they're easy to grasp. If the group being referred to is not human, use this. If it's all ladies, use this. And what about the plural possessive pronouns? They're just like the singular ones, with de added. Got it? Now let's compare. With the help of these two functional characters, 5 Chinese characters replace 23 English words. Next, let's look at subject-verb agreement. Summarized in one sentence, Chinese doesn't have a subject-verb agreement. All verbs remain unchanged, so there's no need to worry about adding s, es, or any other forms. As for plural, like subject-verb agreement, Chinese doesn't have a concept of plural forms, and all nouns remain unchanged. Similarly, changes like adding s, es, ies, or other variations are not something to consider in Chinese. For the comparative and the superlative, let's first look at a comparative example. In Chinese comparative sentence, one character 更 does all the work. It replaces er and more, and no need to memorize special forms like better or further. For superlative, we use another character 最, which replaces all the rules in English for the superlative. With just 2 characters, everything is solved. Tense. Let's use I go to the museum to compare the 4 tenses in Chinese and English. In the past tense, we use the functional character 了. In the present perfect tense, the character 过 is used. The character 要 indicates something that will happen in the future, and the 正 shows that you are currently doing something, which is present continuous tense. so you only need to remember one or few functional characters for each tense. You don't have to spend a huge amount of time memorizing various tense forms and verb changes. Parts of speech. In English, although there are certain rules for changes between nouns, adjectives, and adverbs, many irregular variations can confuse our memory. Have you ever thought about using just one word for all parts of speech? In fact, this is exactly how it works in Chinese. Let's first look at the word 健康, health. You will find that the written form of 健康 is the same in all three parts of speech, but when used as an adjective, it requires the addition of 的 at the end. Similarly, for the word 快乐, happy, when used as an adverb, another 的 is added at the end. Yes, they pronounce the same. You may wonder why these functional characters aren't added in these two cases, and the answer is that sometimes they are not needed. We will explain this in detail during our formal Chinese lessons. Now let's look at interrogative sentence. For yes-no questions, English moved the auxiliary verb to the front, and you need to pay attention to whether it's do, have, is, or are. In Chinese, there is no need to change the word order. Just add a character ma at the end of sentence. For WH questions, you don't need to change the word order either. Just replace what you want to ask with the Chinese equivalent of what, where, when, etc. Again, a few characters solve the entire question structure. Finally, let's look at passive sentence. In passive sentence, the function character is 被. You just need to add 被 after receiver of the action. And there you have it. One more grammar point solved. In conclusion, the grammatical relationships in Chinese are primarily conveyed through the functional characters rather than changes in word forms. Chinese places more emphasis on context rather than strict marking of forms. As a result, Chinese grammar is relatively simplified and flexible, requiring less time spent on various rules and word forms changes. This is one of the advantages of Chinese grammar. Okay, that's it for our overview of Chinese grammar. As you've seen, well, it may seem unfamiliar at first. Chinese grammar is often more straightforward than you might expect. No complex conjugations, just a few functional characters used in flexible ways. In our next video, we will turn to one of the most fascinating aspects of the language, Chinese characters. We will explore where Chinese characters come from, how they're structured, and other fascinating aspects of Chinese characters. Stay tuned and see you next time.